If you know who I am, you probably know my chair. It's something that I've taught classes on a few times on how to make it. We don't give out a lot of information on the actual build of that. But if we hit 20,000 subscribers, we're gonna go ahead and do a start to finish build on that. And we're gonna teach you exactly how to make my chair.
So if you're interested at all in that, and you want to see that,
Right now we're going to get started with milling. I got the wood that I need in the back of my truck. It's going to be very fast paced. I assume if anybody's going to tackle trying to build a chair and follow along, they already know how to mill material. Alright guys, so all I'm doing is finding a spot that these will fit, that I can clamp these down. I don't want anybody to think I'm skipping over the hard parts. It's not really a hard part, you just figure out where it'll fit and you put a fucking clamp there and that's it. Okay, so that's the layout right there for the seat. So if you want to avoid all of that section, then I suggest you buy our templates that we're going to be selling. It'll be a paper template that has the profile of the seat. So just lay it on, center it, and then mark it out. Those go together. Square to the blade. So I went over to the miter saw and I just cut a little, I have this setting here and I made myself a little pencil mark, and then I went to the miter saw and I just cut a little thing on there, just a little notch so that I can get this closer to the blade. Damn it, I can't even do it. And you can see we have a check right here. When you go to table saw something that has a check in it, you're supposed to cut that out before you start table sawing.
If I could, I would be right here with you. In this world of ticking clocks,
You couldn't.
I'm getting through.
Okay, so now we got the glue scraped. We're gonna just use 80 grit and I'm just gonna sand everything nice and flat. When you're sanding the backrest and the seat, make sure not to round over anything yet. You don't want to round over anything. You want to keep everything flat. So don't round this, don't round any of this. In my storage, that is exactly 8 1/8. So we're going to use this. First thing I needed to do was identify which section of this wood that I want to use. Since I have a larger piece than I need, I can be a little bit choosy. So the first thing I did was I came down here. I saw that there's a big knot right here. That could look cool, but I don't want it in my chair, so I'm going to cut it out. So that gives me my starting line.
Heaven's open, we can be everything we want. Oh.
Okay, so now it's really important that you cut your angles right. That's why we marked them, so we don't get confused. So if you look at the saw here, right now I'm going to cut the inner parts of the seats that are 5 inches. I'm going to cut those guys down right now, as well as all of the cuts for the backrest. So this is what you should end up with. You have your angled cuts that way. When we clamp this up, you got your...
This is the backrest for the Kodee-Three.
Okay, and then
That almost looks Egyptian.
dude, how about Benny's rant about the Egyptian gods and the cats? That was intense.
Watching History Channel.
Dude, that was
Ancient
my
aliens.
shit when I was a kid. I was like so into Egypt. We went to LA